Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio here on Moonstruck TV with Amanda Hall Psychic all the way from the Gold Coast here in Australia. So I'm sure plenty of activity's been happening around the world in the last week. There's been plenty of weather events here where I personally live. We've had a deluge of rain and it's still sort of sprinkling a little bit outside, but look, we're not complaining. We needed the rain, as many people do at the moment. I think we all need to sort of wash away some of these germs that have been sort of floating about. Where, you know, I don't know that rain's necessarily going to wash away COVID. Wouldn't it be wonderful if it did? But the next best thing is we've had some groundbreaking news this week. There's a couple of areas around the world that they've started to roll out a vaccine. Yes, it's not as fast as what we'd like to see it as far as many doses that can be administered, but it is good news that, you know, hope is on the horizon. And I feel that that's what we need to be sort of angling towards as we head into this festive season. Let's go forward with hope in our hearts. Let's be positive. Let's look at it. It's been a difficult year for everybody. Nobody's missed out on being affected by COVID-19 in some form or another, whether it's been a total shutdown in your local environment, whether it's been an interruption to your business, to your life, not being able to catch up with family and friends, whatever the sacrifices we've all made as individuals throughout this year, it is for a reason. And it's so we can band together and beat this illness once and for all. We can beat this virus. And that's why I'm suggesting we go forward with hope in our heart, because it's absolutely groundbreaking that in less than 12 months they've been able to produce a vaccine, and a number of them, and to have them have such high rates of efficacy is we've never heard of that in history before. So, you know, we've got to be very proud that the scientists around the world have worked so tirelessly to try and bring us all together as a globe and to help vaccinate us against this terrible illness. So, you know, we can only move forward to the end of the year with hope in our heart. And that brings me to the card of the week this week, which is the Star card, which sort of really follows on from that beautiful analogy of having hope in our heart. It's a card of brightness. It's a card of hope. It could bring excesses, so we have to be careful not to become too greedy. And by that I mean let's not become too complacent, I think, at this point in time. Just because there's a vaccine on the horizon does not mean for 1 second that we can let our guard down, that we can stop following the local orders, whether that be to socially distance, wear a mask, stay at home, stay out of venues with large crowds of people. Whatever the local message is, we must follow it to the letter and be vigilant about it. And I think more so than ever at this time of the year, where we're all running hither and dither and we're so busy, it's very easy to simply forget a step or two in our own safety. Now, the last thing that we would want on our conscience is that we transferred the virus to somebody that we love and we care about. So, you know, for goodness sake, if you've got to wear a mask, pop some in your purse, in your handbag, in your shopping bag, in the car. You know, have them everywhere so that if you happen to step outside and you think, oh, my goodness, I haven't grabbed one, you've got a spare one in the car and some hand sanitizer. I don't think that's much to ask everybody this holiday season. I'm really excited when I see a card like this come out, and it's about hope, and particularly at this time of the year where we could all do with a little bit more hope. So I want to go on to the astrology section now. Now, you know, each week we have a little glimpse of, it's like taking a Polaroid snapshot of where the planets are today just prior to the show and how they're going to affect us, each and every one of us around the globe in the next 7 days. Now, the major change this week, I suppose, is the planet Venus. Now, Venus is the planet of love and affection and the things that we love to do. Now, when I see Venus pop into a fire sign, particularly Sagittarius, and particularly at this time of the year, I feel very excited, because Venus is the things that bring a smile to our heart, the things that we love to do. And look, I know many of you feel stressed out and say, oh, Christmas is only for the children and it's so much work and it's this, that and the other and I'm so exhausted and I've got so much to do. But there's plenty of us in the world like me that absolutely revel in this time of the year, because it is a time of hope, of renewal, of excitement, of seeing the excitement and the anticipation in the children's eyes of, you know, what Santa might leave them under the tree. But I think for us adults, it's more about hope for the future, about, getting together with family and friends, which may not be so prevalent this year, but we can do it by digital means. That's what we've got Skypes and all those sort of things for. We can still have our Christmas get-togethers. We're just going to do it virtually this year. So, this is maybe not a bad thing, because it's allowing people to take a little bit of pressure off them. If you think of it in another way, if you haven't got to hop on the plane, in the car, race around, get the kids ready, sort of not allow them to play with their toys on Christmas morning because we've got to go off and visit grandma and grandpa, or auntie and uncle, or, drive for hours and get there, and then all these grown-ups seem to be cranky and not in the spirit of Christmas because they're all sleep-deprived and have been running around so much getting ready for the big day. Won't it be a different sort of experience for our children to be able to sort of stay at home, enjoy the day, enjoy the moment, play with their toys? Yes, they've got to probably participate in the Zoom conference call, or, the Skype call to sort of wave to Nanny and Pop, and then go back to their toys. So maybe this is setting some new traditions, some new precedences for us moving forward. So Venus is about the things that we love to do. And when it moves into a fire sign like this, it gives us hope. It makes our heart full. It makes our heart sing. So in Sagittarius, we also have the sun, because it's that time of the year, and we also have Mercury, the planet of communication. So our communication should be sort of more upbeat. It should also encompass maybe looking at things in a much broader sense. And this is where we have the communication going around the world at the moment about the vaccines being rolled out in the UK and the USA. Not here in Australia yet, not until well and truly into 2021. We're being a little bit more cautious. But, for wherever you live in the world, that help is on its way. Now, the thing with Mercury in Sagittarius is that this gives us the ability to sort of speak what's in our mind, with sometimes maybe not thinking first. We open our mouth, it all tumbles out, and then we think, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But the thing is, it's usually truthful, and it's usually coming from what's really in our heart, not necessarily what's in our head. And it's sort of, we blurt it out without even thinking about it or filtering it. Now, what I want to alert you to, or ask you to be a little bit careful of, is the fact that Mercury, the planet of communication, is making a really, really nice aspect, a trining aspect to Mars in Aries. Now, normally when we have a trine, I say this is about flow and ease and things being easy to deal with and get along with, and it is still all of that. But with it being Mars in Aries, Mars is the planet of action. Mars is the planet of, we sort of talk about the planet that sort of can stir up things, that can make people a little bit aggressive, this is the planet that we look at if we're looking for some sort of world conflict or some sort of war or argument. So it's asking you to be a little bit more careful about what you're going to say, and particularly as we head into this festive month, where we are in gatherings or we're having the conference calls with people. It's not the time to bring up that thing that's bothered you that happened last February, because it could set off a family row. And that's the last thing that we want. Let's keep it in a positive sort of way. Let's use Mars to sort of generate the energy that we're going to put into our virtual Christmas parties, not our virtual verbal Christmas parties that we're going to have and we're going to cause a family argument. But let's put it into a positive way. Let's get some singing happening. Let's sort of set some precedences for everybody to choose their favourite Christmas carol that we're all going to YouTube or something and all watch it together. Let's set some new traditions. We have the same planets that we've been talking about all year with COVID and climate change and all those sort of things. Pluto holding hands with Jupiter and Saturn in Capricorn. Now, Pluto will still be there till 2022, but Jupiter and Saturn are on their last few days of being in Capricorn before they change energies and move into Aquarius. So that will be a major shift coming up before the end of this year. We'll talk about it when they actually move into Aquarius and how that's going to affect each and every one of us. But for the moment, Pluto was sort of trying to get everybody to get on the same page. Let's all sort of hold hands right around the world and let's give COVID the boot. Let's do what's asked of us so that we can start to see the healing happening. Then we can start to deal with other issues of like finance and climate change once we've got our health and the health of our neighbours and our friends and our work colleagues and everybody that's important to us and everybody around the world on the right track. So the candle that I've chosen this week is the candle called Passion. Now, the reasons why I chose this candle was that I wanted everybody to sort of see the fact that we can have something to be passionate about in our lives. This is a time of the year where our emotions run high, and it's a time of the year when I think we can learn to be passionate about something in our lives. I really want you to sort of start to think about what are the things that make you tick? What are the things that you are the most happiest about? What are the things that put passion in your eyes? Start to light a candle, it doesn't matter what kind it is, and start to think about what you're passionate about. What are the things that you can throw your energy behind that is going to make your world a better place? And it's really, really important at the moment as we move towards this that we understand what we are passionate about and what we're hoping to change and bring about into our part of the world. So I hope that each and every one of you do light a candle, even if it's only a little electronic one, and use that to remember the people that we've lost this year, because we have lost a lot of people around the world. So we're going to take our first caller, which is Kelly in Fairfax in California. Are you there, Kelly?
Hello?
Hello, Kelly. Hi, Kelly. Do you have a question I can work with, please, sweetie?
Yeah, it's my birthday today, and I was just wondering what is in store for me the upcoming year.
Okay, well, happy birthday, Kelly. It's always nice to talk to a fellow Sagittarian, and I think it's really important that, that you understand being a Sag comes with a lot of responsibility. It's our responsibility, I think, to make the world a brighter place where we give people some sort of hope and inspiration for the future. But for you, Kelly, it's going to be a time over the next 3 months of sorting through things. They're showing me a number of endings, changes and transformations coming up. Now, these may be areas of your life that you've already been working on, and it's now just to bring them to fruition. It's now to sort of say that's completed. I can shut the door on that. I can open the door up to some new and exciting opportunities, particularly from about next March. It's like the wishing well opens up. So you're going to have to be very, very careful what you wish for, Kelly, because you might just get it. So make sure that you're very clear on what you put out to the universe that you want. So have you been thinking of changing your job, Kelly?
Yes. I just have some temporary jobs right now.
Yeah, but I'm sort of seeing from about March, it's like I've got something sort of permanent, solid being offered to me. And it's like I want to sort of say to you, consider it very carefully. Don't just say, yes, 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 thank you very much, because it's permanent and it's being offered. Make sure that it's the right fit. You're going to be in a position of choice. If the first opportunity that comes along isn't the right fit, then say, thank you very much, but no thank you, and sort of pursue something that is a better fit, because it's your turn now, Kelly. It's your time to really sort of honour what's going to make you happy. And, if you're not happy in your job and you're not excited to get out of bed to go there, then that doesn't fill your heart with excitement. And I want this next 12 months for you to be really honouring what makes your heart sing. There's been so many people, particularly in the last 18 months to 2 years, Kelly, that have disappointed you or let you down in some way. And it's like I want to turn that around and give you something positive to hang on to, something to look forward to, and sort of say that the new people that are entering your life from today onwards, most of those will be trustworthy. Most of those will be people that fit the new Kelly, the Kelly that's been working so hard to sort of become very grown up in a way. It's sort of, and I don't mean by age, I mean on a soul level. You've done so much work on yourself that it's now time to start reaping those rewards. So look at anybody that's left your life or that you've chosen to no longer have a connection with, that maybe it was time for those doors to close, because it's like a closet. If we don't remove some of the articles out of the closet, then how can we hang or put new things in the closet because there's no room. So we have to look at life being like that too. If we have no space in our life for new people to come in, then new people can't cross our path and sort of, come into our lives and bring with them things that are going to be advantageous to us, things that are going to help us on the next part of our journey. So I just want you to continue to be true to yourself. Don't change who you are. You're perfect the way you are. And if people don't like it, that's their problem, Kelly. You've worked hard to become this person who speaks their truth and lives their truth. And if people can't handle that, that's their issue, not yours. So I hope that's helped you, Kelly, understand more about where you're going.
Yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and you've got a lot to look forward to, Kelly. It's just, you've worked, as I said, so hard for so long on yourself. It's now time to sort of sit back, catch your breath and sort of say, okay, I'm open to whatever the universe, whatever the world wants to present to me. I will give it a fair hearing. I will look at it. I will understand it. I'll sit with it. And then I'll make a decision at either yes or no. So it's, it's a time where you can be in a little bit of choice here, where you can turn around and say no to something that doesn't suit you. And we don't often get those opportunities, I think, in our life to be in that position of choice. Usually we've got to do something because, we go to work because we need the money to survive. We need the money to feed the family and keep going. But it's nice when you're in a position where you can say to yourself, look, this job isn't quite my perfect fit. I think I'll wait. I think I'll hang on for another, couple of weeks or another month and see whatever else is on the horizon. And that's what you're going to see, that you've got the opportunity now to get the job that's as close as perfect as possible that suits you moving forward. So it's a really important time, Kelly. So please be true to yourself, enjoy being a Sag, and know that we're going into much, much better times. We had our hard times. It's now time for us to be able to sort of move forward and to have much, much more in life. And that's not always about money. It's about being comfortable with who you are in your own skin, and I know that you're very much that way, Kelly. Anyway, we're going to move on with Kaiser in Oregon in USA. Are you there, Kaiser? Hello, Kaiser.
Hello.
Do you have a question I can work with, please, sweetie?
I'm sorry, can you repeat yourself?
Do you have a question I can answer for you, sweetie?
Not actually a specific question, I guess. I just maybe if somebody on the other side has an answer, a message for me, I guess.
Okay, Dina, I'm sorry I called you Kaiser. I didn't realise I wasn't really focused on what was on my screen, so I apologise for that. Look, the first thing that I'm picking up around you is, Deanna, that there's a lot of change around you also. It's like this year hasn't been, I know it hasn't been easy for anybody on the planet, but for you it's been even harder or tougher in some ways. It's like not only did you deal with, what was going on around you in your local environment in Oregon, but you also had to deal with other people and their emotions and people not behaving as you would have predicted or you would have expected from them. And that put an exceptional amount of pressure on you to perform more, to be more to everybody than what you should have been. So I want to say that's now starting to settle around you. And I'm going to suggest to you now that it's time now that we start looking at what your needs are, Deanna. It's time for you to sort of catch your breath, say to yourself, look, it's okay. I don't want to get up and do that today. I might leave that till tomorrow or next week. And you don't have to give people a reason why. It's time now for you to sort of be kind to yourself. And it's something I think as women, we tend to sort of not put ourselves first because there's so many other demands and expectations on us that we don't always have the time or the luxury of time to be able to do that. Now, I want to suggest to you, you need to do this for yourself. You need to do this for many, many reasons because on every level, your body is exhausted. And I'm not just talking about on a physical, I'm talking about on an emotional, on a soul level. So it's like we've got to recharge all those batteries. And look, I appreciate it's a busy time of the year and we've got a lot of things to do. But even if you can just allocate 5 minutes in 5-minute blocks of when you're feeling sort of overwhelmed, tired or whatever, to just sit down, chill, put your favourite piece of music on, or do nothing, or just have a cup of coffee and just let yourself be for a minute. I feel that will sort of suffice. It will help you get on with the rest of the busy day. 2021 is going to be a year where you're really going to have to be tough. You're really going to have to stand up for what you want. And it's like, if something doesn't suit you, I want you to say, no, that's not what I'm doing. You don't necessarily have to give people a reason or a lengthy explanation of why that you're not doing that or you're not partaking in that. Just the answer is no. By the time we get to the end of February, I'm going to say that you're going to feel like you're starting to feel like your old self again. It's like, I've got energy, I've got a clarity in my mind, I'm feeling as if I'm optimistic, I know where I'm going and what I want. It's not so much that you don't know where you're going or what you want over the next couple of months. It's just that things that you thought that were important to you, all of a sudden your thinking is changing and you think, maybe that's not quite what I want anymore, but I don't know what to replace it with. So allow yourself that time to sort of say, I just don't know. And you're allowed to say that. And you don't have to have a reason for that. It's not the time. You will get some very strong dreams over the next month. And I want you to be aware of these. If you can, get up and write them down, or when you first wake up in the morning, even if you put it down in bullet form or put it on your phone or something, voice record it so you can go back and recall it later. There will be some very definite messages in there that are coming direct from spirit. Now, this is why I'm suggesting to you that it's important. Let's try and get some of the information from these dreams down. They may not make logical or rational sense to you at the time, but I also want you to, as much as you can, put down any other information from the dream, like how you felt emotionally in the dream. Were you hot? Were you cold? Was there anything significant? Was there a painting on the wall or a particular object that stood out to you, or something that didn't make sense? I mean, if there was a pink cat in the dream, well, we know that cats aren't pink, but mention that when you're putting your documentation down, so that when you come back to it, a lot of these pieces will fall into like a jigsaw puzzle that will help you understand where and how these pieces all come together. I think 2021 is going to be a year of momentous change for you, but change that will come in fits and starts. It won't all happen by March, and it won't all happen in one go. It's like we'll have an almighty push to get something sorted, and then it's sort of like nothing happens for a while. Everything sort of slows down and almost becomes to a standstill, and you think, well, was that it? Was that all the change that was happening in my life? No, that was the one major push for that situation. Then it's like we take a breather, and then we wait for the next instalment. We might wait for the next cue card to say what's next, where we're going next. So that it's important that you don't get frustrated at these times. When everything starts to slow down and we've achieved that one thing or two things, then allow yourself that time to regroup. Allow yourself that time to have a little bit of extra rest, or to go for that extra walk, or to do something that makes your heart sing. You know, take yourself off to the movies, or have a game of tennis, or whatever it might be that fills your heart with happiness. And then know then that you'll be energized and ready to go again on every level when the next push comes for the next change or the next opportunity that's coming. There's somebody from your past, and I'm going to say a dark-headed female, and I'm not quite sure how she fits into the equation, but she keeps popping in front of my eyes, coming back into your life. I keep seeing question marks around it. So I'm going to assume from that there's a couple of issues here that need to be sorted, or whether or not when the situation ended between the two of you, there was issues there that you decided to shut the door on because of these situations. It's up to you whether you allow this person back into your life to explain what happened. I'm going to say to you, on a karmic level, it makes no difference. It's not going to be a good thing or a bad thing. It'll purely be how you feel about it at the time when this woman reaches out to you. And it may come in the form of social media or something like that they, send you a friend request or something, and you think, why would I want to be friends with them? We had an argument 10 years ago. I want to leave that door shut. If that's how you still automatically feel at the time and are not curious, then that's fine. So all I'm bringing this up for more than anything is that this is going to be the marker in time to me. Once that's happened, regardless of what you do, after that is when your life starts to change. It's like that's the flag that comes up, that, you know, that this is the sort of start of massive changes in your life. So I hope that's helped you, Deanna.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Good. Okay. Well, you've got a lot to look forward to in 2021. So just, you know, chill as much as you can and be ready for the massive changes that are coming and know that you are on the right track. So that was Deanna in Oregon. So it's an interesting time of the year. For many of us, there's going to be a lot of changes coming towards us as the year comes to a close. And, you know, even during this busy time, we might find that things pop in and out of our minds and we don't quite understand why. That all of a sudden we've got all this activity coming into our mind. For some of us, it's going to be just that final glimpse at something or someone that was in our lives, and it's our final way of sort of looking at the situation and letting go of it. And this is where, you know, a lot of times people just say, just let go of the past and move on. Well, sometimes our unconscious and our subconscious buries these things very deep, or these situations very deep, and it might take many, many years before they come to the surface in our conscious mind. And by then it's like it's trivial. It's like, what's that for? You know, we can let that go. Why did we hang on to that? There's no rhyme or reason at why we hang on to it at that time. Just know that if something from the past comes back and it has no relevance to you, look at it, own it, see how you feel about it, and just say, be on your way. You know, I let you go with love and light and sort of move on to the next task at hand. So don't forget, it's a very exciting period of time at the moment in the world as we all move forward towards finding a cure and, you know, some sort of relief from COVID-19. If you are in an area where you can get a vaccination, then I think it's up to you to sit down and look at very carefully, does this suit you? Is this something that you're comfortable with? And is it something that you're comfortable doing, not just for yourself, but for your neighbours, for the people that you love, for a way of not spreading this virus any further. So until next week, I want you to have a very, very, very Merry Christmas as we lead up to the holiday season. Put some Christmas carols on, you know, the turntable. And look, there's many fabulous Christmas songs out there. As my producer knows, we were talking about Helen Reddy the other day, and I found some Christmas carols that Helen Reddy sung that I didn't even know existed. So, you know, Google in your favourite artist and see if there's any Christmas carols there on the YouTube that you can sort of have belting out on your device and make the world a much happier place. So until next week, have a very, very Merry Christmas and happy Christmas shopping. Bye for now.